God is Christ, who died and rose again. He is the only mediator of salvation, the only Redeemer, the one who, by uniting himself with our humanity and transforming us with his love, represents the door that opens wide for us and leads us to the Father. United with him, we too are living stones of this spiritual edifice. We are the Church of Christ, his body, his members called to spread his gospel of mercy, consolation, and peace throughout the world through that spiritual worship that must shine forth above all in the testimony of our life. Brothers and sisters, we must train our hearts to have this spiritual outlook. So often, the frailties and mistakes of Christians, together with many cliches and prejudices, prevent us from grasping the richness of the mystery of the Church. Her holiness, in fact, is not dependent upon our merits, but on the gift of the Lord, never retracted, that continues to choose as the vessel of its presence, with a paradoxical love, the dirty hands of men. Let us walk, then, in the joy of being the holy people that God has chosen, and let us invoke Mary, Mother of the Church, to help us welcome Christ and to accompany us with her intercession.
Angelus Domini, nunciavit Mariae,
et concepit de Spiritu Sancto.
Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ecce ancilla Domini.
Fiat mi secundum verbum tuum.
Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Et verbum caro factum est.
Et habitavit in nobis.
Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ora pro nobis, Sancta Dei Genetrix.
Vini efficiamur promissionibus Christi.
Oremus. Gratiam tuam quesumus Domine, mentibus nostris infunde, ut qui angelo nuntiante, Christi filii tui incarnation coniovimus, per passionem eius et crucem, ad resurrectionis gloriam perducamur, per Christum Dominum nostrum.
Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Pro fidelibus defunctis, requiem aeternam dona eis Domine.
Et lux perpetua luceat eis.
Requiescant in pace.
Amen.
Dominus vobiscum,
Et cum spiritu tuo,
sit nomen Domini benedictum,
es hoc nunc et usque in saeculum,
adiutorium nostrum in nomine Domini.
qui fecit caelum et terram.
Benedicat vos omnipotens Deus, Pater et Filius et Spiritus Sanctus.
Amen.
Amen.
And We've just prayed the Angelus with our Holy Father, Pope Leo, and received his apostolic blessing.
Cari fratelli e sorelle,
Dear brothers and sisters,
sono vicino alle
I'm
popolazioni
close
delle
to
Filippine,
the people of the
colpite
Philippines,
da un violento tifone.
struck by a violent
Prego per i
typhoon.
defunti e
I
i
pray
loro
for those who have
familiari,
died and
per
for
i
their
feriti
families,
e gli sfollati.
and for all of those
Oggi
who've
la
been affected by
Chiesa
the
in
typhoon.
Italia
Today, the
celebra la
Church
giornata
in
del
Italy
ringraziamento.
celebrates a day of
Mi
thanksgiving,
associo al messaggio dei vescovi
and I associate myself with the bishops in encouraging
del territorio, il
a heartfelt
contrasto
response
dello
throughout the
spreco
territory.
alimentare e l'adozione di pratiche agricole sostenibili. Ringraziamo Dio per Sora
We thank
nostra
God
Madre Terra
for our
e
sister
per
Mother Earth
quanti la coltivano e
and
la
for all those
custodiscono.
who cultivate Mother
Saluto
Earth
di cuore
and
tutti voi,
and
romani
care
e
for it.
pellegrini
I salute all of
provenienti
you,
dall'Italia e da tante
Romans,
parti
those
del
coming from
mondo.
Italy and from all parts of the world.
In particolare
In particular,
i giovani gesuiti polacchi,
young Jesuits from Poland,
i fedeli
the faithful
venuti da
who have
Varsavia
come
e
from
Danzig
Warsaw
in
and
Polonia,
Danzig in Poland,
Newark,
Gdansk in Poland,
Carni negli
in
Stati Uniti
Newark
d'America,
in the United States of
Toledo,
America, Toledo,
i Galapagar in Spagna e Londra,
and various other
come
places throughout the
pure
world.
il coro dei Regensburger Domspatzen. Saluto i membri dell'Azione Cattolica dell'Arcidiocesi di Genova e i gruppi parrocchiali di Cava Manara, Mede, Vibo Marina, Sant'Arcangelo di Potenza, Noto, Pozzallo de Avola, Cesenatico, Mercato San Severino, Crispano del Grappa e Noventa Padovana. Saluto il gruppo delle manifestazioni storiche del Lazio e i volontari del Banco Alimentare che faranno la colletta alimentare sabato prossima, vigilia della Giornata Mondiale dei Poveri. Esprimo il mio vivo apprezzamento per quanti ad ogni livello si stanno impegnando a costruire la pace nelle diverse regioni segnate dalla guerra. Nei giorni scorsi
In recent
abbiamo
days,
pregato
we have
per i
prayed
defunti.
for those
Tra
who have died,
questi purtroppo ce ne sono tanti uccisi nei combattimenti,
and
nei
he prays especially for those who are killed in
benché
war,
fossero civili, bambini,
especially
anziani,
civilians,
ammalati.
children,
Si
the
vuole
elderly, the
veramente
sick.
onorare la loro memoria. Si cessi il fuoco e
And he
si
calls
metta ogni impegno
for an
nelle
end to war.
trattative. Auguro a tutti una buona
And
domenica.
I wish all of you a happy Sunday. And with that greeting, the Holy Father concludes his Angelus for this Sunday, November 9th, the feast of the dedication of the Cathedral Archbasilica of St. John Lateran. And as our broadcast draws to a close, I would like to thank once again all of our partner stations who help make these live broadcasts available throughout the world, especially EWTN TV, Catholic Faith Network in America, Salt and Light TV, Radio Maria England, Maya TV India, Shalom World Television Networks USA, Amadarshan TV, Catholic TV, Luminous Radio India, and Radio Maria Papua New Guinea. Thanks to our producers and technicians here in studio, and thanks to all of you for joining us this morning. For full coverage of this morning's Angelus address, as well as other Vatican and world news, including coverage of the Holy Father's Mass this morning at St. John Lateran, we do invite you to visit our Vatican News web portal, as well as our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube accounts. My name is Christopher Wells. It has been a great pleasure providing the English language translation of today's Angelus address by Pope Leo XIV. Praised be Jesus Christ. Laudetur Jesus Christus.